Alright guys, so this video is going to be for those struggling chefs out there. Just going to show you real quick how to sear salmon. Super easy, super delicious meal, and it is a healthy option for dinner. Healthy protein anyway. For those of my clients out there that are in fat burn, obviously you know that this meal is, salmon is approved in fat burn, cooking it a certain way. So I'm going to show you guys both the fat burn approved way and then some other ways you can cook it just to kind of stay healthy. So let me flip this around real quick. All right, so here we got the salmon. Now, one of the great things about salmon is you can actually cook it like beef. And what I mean by that is you can kind of cook it pretty rare. So we're just going to sear it right now. This is how I prefer to cook it. And so I'm going to show you that method. Think of it as like a rare to medium rare burger. Now, a couple things we're going to point out here. We got the cast iron. That's what I'm going to cook it in, aka the flavor saver. And you can see I got a little bit of oil in it. And what you can use is really just any oil. You really want to measure it out though. You really want to use your tablespoon things. I've always got them handy right here. Always want to use the tablespoons or teaspoons depending on how much oil you're using. If you don't know how much you should use, then you really got to talk to someone that's showing you the nutrients you should be having. You should really know how much nutrients your body needs each and every day for your specific lifestyle. Now, what you can also use in fat burn is this Pam spray. Now, I have the original one. I typically like the Pam olive oil spray. They even make it in organic, which is really cool. I prefer that one. Don't know how this one got in the house, but I'm not going to waste it, so I'm going to use it up. This Pam spray works great if you're in fat burn and don't want to use the oil. The reason we may not use oil in fat burn is in most cases, salmon has plenty of healthy fats in it. You don't need to add any. So that being said, we're going to keep the salmon pretty simple. We're just going to kind of enjoy the salmon for the flavors it's got. I don't like adding all these crazy seasonings onto these proteins. You know, these farmers, and I say farmers because the salmon odds are is farm raised, and this more so goes with steak than actual salmon, but still, these farmers spend time raising these animals. And I kind of like to just kind of appreciate the flavor of the animal, not kind of cover it in too much crap. So we're just going to do a little bit of salt and pepper. And of course, everything in the world gets garlic if you're in my house. Everything. We got the salmon here. We got our cast iron. Now, I don't know what your cookbook says. I prefer to go meat side down, skin side up at first. And the reason being is searing is a really high heat cooking method. And with the high heat, you can burn the skin really easy. Now let me flip you around here. When you burn the skin on salmon, it just crisps up, it gets real bad tasting, and it just happens too quick. Too quick for the meat to actually cook on the inside. So I always like to go meat side down first. And you can see it's about 6:58 right now, so I'll show you how much time we're gonna let it sit right there before we flip it right over. All right, so here we are about 3 minutes in. It just turned to 02, so about 3 minutes in. You can see how we got good sear on the meat side of the fish. Just flipped it over to the skin side. You notice it shrunk as well. I used my spatula and cut off this piece. Keep in mind, smaller pieces of the salmon are going to cook much faster than your bigger pieces. It makes a hell of a lot of sense to cut it before you put it on. I just cut it with the spatula again after I put it on. So it really is up to you on that. We're going to go about a couple minutes on the skin side. You really got to be careful on the skin side because it can burn so easily and kind of ruin the good fats that are in the skin. So you really want to limit your time there. Most of the cooking's done on the meat side. So here we have it, guys, finished product. It is 7:05, and that includes the time I took to cut it. It really only spent about a minute on the skin. You can see it's nice and rare on the inside. That is totally fine when cooking salmon. Again, it's somewhat like cooking beef. If you cut it and it ends up being a little uncooked for you, the great thing about salmon is you can pop it right back on. Unlike beef, if you cut a steak halfway through cooking it and pop it back on, it really does kind of ruin the steak. Not the case with salmon. So it really is an easy method. Just remember, you want your cast iron really high heat when you're going to cook it. This searing is super quick. Like I said, we only took a few minutes. So hopefully that was helpful, guys, in how to sear salmon. It really is a great fish. It has amazing healthy fats in it, so you do want to be careful of the amount of healthy fats you utilize. It really depends on what your goal is, what you're trying to do, maintenance, not maintenance, muscle gain, have you hiked today, are you exercising, you know. Really it comes down to your core nutrition, so you really want to figure that out, have someone help you with it. Let me show you what you can pair it with. This is what I'm pairing it with. Don't overcomplicate things, guys. Just roasted these Brussels sprouts and carrots. Really simple. I suggest if you're in fat burn and you want meals like this, you get yourself an air fryer. They're really great at roasting things like this without adding the oil. Otherwise, doing it the oven way, you kind of do need to add a large amount of oil. On top of having the salmon, that's just a lot of fats that the odds are will throw you out of fat burn. It's just too much in one meal. Because remember, this is only one meal for the day. We got to have so many more throughout the day to keep our blood sugars in check and our body happy. But anyway, hopefully that was helpful with the salmon, guys. Thanks for watching.